Hello and welcome to Recharge Wrestling. We're here to plug you into the world of professional wrestling. I'm Fisher and I'm here with one of my co-hosts today in Krusty.
Hey everyone.
Kearney couldn't make this, which is quite sad because it's a Clash at the Castle review podcast, which obviously we all attended on Saturday night and had an amazing time. But yeah, it's just the two of us reviewing the show. We thought we'd get a review done because we were so excited about the show. We wanted to let the dust settle a little bit and not do it, even though we did try and go live on Saturday night. Really, I think it's better we waited a couple of days to have our thoughts on the show.
Rather that we can actually hear ourselves think now. I don't know
Yeah,
about you.
my voice was terrible as well. My voice was terrible yesterday.
I'd lost my voice.
After singing Edge's theme song and stuff and shouting Drew McIntyre. But yeah, I mean, it was a great event though. Really pleased we all went. And yeah, we'll talk about what happened, and we'll start with the main event and everything that happened with that, because I feel like it's the biggest talking point from the show. Obviously, kind of left, I think, the fans feeling, a lot of fans, not I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of fans feeling a little bit flat with the result of the match, even though the match itself and the journey we went on through the match with the near falls and everything, Theory coming out, I think was a brilliant match and a brilliant story. I think it's a story that didn't have a happy ending in the end. It was Roman Reigns wins again, and keep it going, which in the long term I'm fine with, and I'll explain why in a minute. But on the night, felt wrong.
It burst our bubble a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
If you was there live, you'd have not experienced this. And I think there's been a lot of buzz around it on the internet of how excited and loud this crowd was. Being amongst it was incredible.
Yeah.
And I've heard Roman be booed, but it's mixed, but I have never seen him get such heat. And Drew was so over. It was unbelievable. I don't think, as a crowd, stopped chanting throughout the whole show.
No, the only quiet match. Yeah, no, certainly not through that match. And to be honest, the only time the crowd was a little bit quiet was the Shayna Baszler Liv Morgan match, where I felt like it was a little bit of a buffer.
And I don't think that was because the wrestling was bad. It's just because that feud wasn't hot.
No.
But we'll get more onto that later.
And it was right in the middle of the card where we'd had the start where everyone was energetic, and then we knew what was coming afterwards. So a lot of people got up and sort of went to the toilet and got snacks and stuff during this match, which is a bit of a shame. We'll get to that anyway in a bit. But the main event itself, crazy atmosphere.
As you said, such a good story. In terms of wrestling, I think in a way we can be blinded slightly by the result. But the actual wrestling and the story told was incredible.
I haven't watched it back, but I've seen clips of stuff of it, and it looks even better than I thought with the commentary and everything. The commentary would probably help tell the story even better.
Definitely. I mean, you had all sorts of elements in. I know we said Karrion Kross didn't do much, but he was there, putting him in this title picture. Isn't he going to get involved? You then had the awesome spot, which I actually predicted in the crowd way before the match even happened.
Yeah, you did.
Tyson Theory running down. Sorry, Tyson Theory. Austin Theory. Then coming down to cash in, getting knocked out by Tyson Fury, who was in one of the front rows, which was a brilliant way of getting Tyson Fury involved in the match without him actually impacting.
Yes, because
if he'd have hit Drew or something.
I was very worried he was going to hit Drew, and I know that wouldn't have made much sense because obviously you want the local celebrity to be the babyface.
Yes.
There was also the opportunity what I thought could happen is it might go the other way and Roman Reigns would try and make him acknowledge him, and it'll just be like, bam, and smash Roman. And then Drew could kind of win from that. But even that, I would have been a bit like, shouldn't have him involved in the finish. But Austin Theory coming out, who no one really likes anyway, and wasn't actually in the match, hadn't cashed in yet, so he didn't lose his briefcase as well, which brilliant I think is key as well. Yeah. He didn't lose his briefcase because of it. He just got smacked in the face.
I thought it was a brilliant scenario.
Yeah, he was used really well.
Wound up from him coming down.
Yeah,
but then to have him not get it, and then the pop for Fury as well. So yeah, absolutely loved that. And then something none of us expected. I hadn't seen this predicted anywhere. Solo Sikoa coming and pulling the ref out the ring as Drew was about to win the match.
No, I hadn't either.
We couldn't even see because of where we were, and he was all dressed in a tracksuit. We couldn't see him, so I honestly thought he'd won. And then
Yes,
suddenly
same.
we sort of
I was
saw
so confused by the watching it where we were. We couldn't see Solo Sikoa. I didn't even see the ref. Saw the ref got pulled out on the screen, but it was like after. I thought it counted to 3, and yeah, I was a bit baffled. And then obviously we watched on the screen and saw Solo Sikoa get unveiled. It was a big surprise. I mean, I'd heard rumors of him getting called up soon from NXT, and that's why, because he's been kept quite recently. He's not really been in many storylines on NXT. He's been quite quiet. So I did think the call up might be coming soon, and they can integrate him into the bloodline very easily. But I didn't expect it here in the main event of this match. I really wasn't expecting it at all.
I think Triple H is really taking the agenda of don't use current stars in these big spots, make stars from these spots.
Yes.
Whether they're hated or loved, you're putting somebody who is essentially to main crowds. Obviously, we know who Solo Sikoa is, but to main crowds, he's a nobody. How do you get him noticed? You get him to interfere in the world title match, universal title match. That's how you do it.
Yeah, and I know Keeney asked the question. It was when we did our live the other day. Is he a big enough star to enter the main event? And my response was kind of like, well, we know, but I would rather them use someone that makes sense and you can build a storyline with than just do it for a pop. And have someone enter the match for a pop, and then you're not going to say if Tyson Fury had come in and been the guy to either cost Drew or cost Roman, what use is that for the future? Because you're probably not even going to have a match with Tyson Fury, and if you did, no one's going to care. Whereas Solo Sikoa, you can build in the storyline with the bloodline on Friday. I'm really intrigued to see where this goes, because I think this could be the end of Sami Zayn now getting kicked out. This is where we get the storyline with Kevin Owens and the Usos.
Couldn't we as well?
Are the Usos going to have are the Usos going to be a bit salty because their younger brother's coming in and Roman's going to favour him over them? Or
it really
there's
makes
so many
directions. Excited, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's so many directions you can go in, and they've had this dynamic before when Jay was in and then Jimmy came in, and after he come back from his injury, and then you've got the Sami Zayn dynamic that's been going on recently, which has also been great. So I think making the bloodline have these things keeps it fresh and keeps it interesting.
100%.
But it'll be interesting because I don't. It's where Drew goes from here that makes it even more interesting.
I wonder whether he's going to have a bit of a break, because he did say he had a back injury.
That's a good point.
He does step down for a little bit. We don't know how bad that is, or whether that was played up a little bit just to give him that extra babyface feel. But yeah, I mean, there's so many Karrion Kross, I suppose, would be quite an obvious.
I think something's going to happen there, because either Kross is going for Roman or Kross is going for Drew next. He's teased both.
Discussed Roman is probably going to have some time off now until the big stadium show. So it's probably going to be Survivor Series,
or maybe Crown Jewel. He might defend at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, good point. So is Crown Jewel before Survivor Series?
Yes, it says Extreme Rules next. I don't think Roman will defend the title there.
I think you may get Kross versus Drew
there.
Extreme Rules, and the winner then faces Roman again.
That's a good shout.
And it could well be Drew, because Drew versus Roman at Crown Jewel would be a big draw.
It would.
And potentially he gets it. They have huge crowds, and it means a lot.
I just think it'd be silly not to do it. If you're going to do it, you might as well do it in the UK. I don't understand why.
I think Triple H would know to do that in the UK, wouldn't he?
But it wouldn't make any sense for me. And I don't see Kross beating Roman Reigns. I just don't think that's viable.
Not now, not yet. Anyway, but yeah, overall, really, really good match. As you said, the finish was a bit sour for the home. Hometown fans.
And the weird way they tried to make up for it. Let's talk about that, because Tyson Fury then gets in the ring.
I was going to ignore it, but okay.
I think we need to discuss it because it was on the TV. If it was just on for us and it wasn't on the telly, I think we can just ignore it because most people wouldn't have seen it. But the fact that this was on telly was very bizarre. And I don't get why they did it. And I thought it made Drew look a bit weird after he just lost a big main event match, having him singing. So yeah, I didn't get why they did this at all, other than to try and send the fans home happy. But to me, you do something different than that. Maybe you do like a quick segment where Theory comes out or something, and you just have Drew Claymore him or something like that, rather than what they did.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I guess the point they were trying to maybe get across is that because Fury was saying how well he fought and things like that, and he should have. But I guess that would work better if he lost cleanly. But he lost. He didn't lose clean.
He got screwed over. He should be really angry.
He should have been angry,
you know,
which
and he didn't. That was the thing. And if it was just for the live crowd, I wouldn't have a problem with it because we all know that once it goes off the TV, anything goes.
I wonder
really.
whether it was supposed to happen. I'm wondering whether that was.
Well, the show did end earlier than we thought because we were surprised, weren't we, at how early it ended? Because the TV listing said 10 o'clock, and from what I'd heard from some sort of reliable sources online, it was meant to be 10:30 finish, possibly like between 10:30, and it finished at 9:30. And then it was a few extra minutes with the Tyson Fury bit. So maybe you're right. Maybe they had a bit of extra time and they just thought, do you know what, we'll just send Tyson Fury in there and we'll just
sing a song because it didn't seem too planned.
No, it did feel a little bit improvised.
The Tyson Fury thing was fine. I think the Drew part was a bit odd, like you say.
Yeah, Tyson Fury doing it on his own would have been okay. If Drew had gone back to the rings, back salty, like acknowledged the fans, said thanks, but then gone, I need to get out of here and get my head together or whatever. And then Tyson Fury entered the ring and started singing. I'd have been okay.
Difficult, isn't it?
It was just a bit strange. But yeah, the overall match was really good. Like you said, a couple of the spots were really interesting. There was so many good near falls as well, where there was one Claymore where I thought Drew had won before that. And there was a couple of spears as well. And then Drew did a spear on Roman as well.
That was sick.
So there were loads of it. They had us in the palm of their hands. They really did. We were out of our seats. We really thought that Drew was winning. So fair play. They worked us in that sense to believe it. And not just us, 62,000 other people as well.
Oh, yeah.
But like I say, in the long run, my argument for them not having Drew win, like on the night, we get a great pop. But then when Friday comes around on SmackDown, are the audience going to care that Roman is still champion and Drew's not? I don't think they are. I think the US fan base, their normal core fan base, probably would prefer to still see Roman with the title. It was just us in that building and the UK fans that wanted Drew to win on that night. I think most people wouldn't have said, who do you want to dethrone Roman? I don't think they'd say Drew McIntyre, personally.
I suppose it's similar to like Sami Zayn or KO winning in Canada.
Yeah, exactly. That audience wants it, but is it necessarily best for the long-term story? And I think that would be Triple H's sort of argument. I don't think he has explained it. He might.
The only thing is, I feel it's a little bit sad that Drew never got his moment because I thought he always was going to after carrying it through COVID.
Yeah, that's the shame. Win. And for me, he deserves it, and he could be the one to dethrone Roman. Like, it's not like it's ridiculous thinking about it. And plus the fact that he came up to Broken Dreams, which we haven't even mentioned yet, and all this stuff added to the emotion. But I think that's why they did it. I think they were like, right, we're going to put Broken Dreams in there. We're going to play all these video
dreams.
Then they want us to be heartbroken at the end of the show, which isn't the best way to think about it. But that's wrestling. Like wrestling is like that sometimes. Sometimes the fans go home and they get what they want.
It's weird when everyone. I didn't like it when they used to have. I class the Clash of the Castle quite similar to like a Crown Jewel show.
Yeah.
But initially, they just used to please the crowds, and anyone who you would write on paper should win to please the crowd would win.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they don't do that. They've changed it, and to be honest, it would have been strange if they did. Although they literally took everything away from us because Sheamus also lost.
Well, I was going to say that kind of segues a little bit. I mean, we weren't going to talk about Sheamus match next, but should we move on to the Sheamus match? Because for me, this is my favourite match of the night. I thought it was a sensational match. Like the wrestling in this match was great. The crowd again behind Sheamus, but also for Gunther, they were loud as well. It wasn't like the Roman match where it was not all in on. It was a 50-50 split, maybe slightly more towards Sheamus. But the way they just like the beats and all that, and the way they built up to the 10 beats and the Walter chops or Gunther chops, the power bombs, all of the stuff they did in this match was, I mean, it looked like he botched the first power bomb, but
he did. He put him down, didn't he?
Apart from that, it was such a good match. It was just so good.
Although it does show in a way how much of a quality wrestler he is because he probably thought he was going to hurt him, so he pulled it. He pulled back, so he almost placed him down, didn't he?
Yeah.
If he'd have just gone with it and launched him on
I mean, his
head
power bombs generally they're not. He doesn't smash them down like that. He kind of just drops them like safely, which is weird because Walter's like obviously his chops and that are very aggressive, but he's actually when he does a power bomb, he doesn't do it, and I think they're going to hurt themselves most of the time anyway. But yeah, I think you might be right, and you kind of pulled out of it a little bit. But yeah,
it was a fantastic match.
Loved
it? It was brutal. Seeing some pictures back of their chest, especially Sheamus. Ouch! But they just say go for it. This is what we want. Yeah, and both of them just wanted a cracking, hard-hitting match.
And I love the reaction to this online. People calling this, a match of the year contender. People loving this match that weren't at the show as well. The US audience that were watching at home love this show, match. And again, the crowd made it again here. Sheamus afterwards stayed in a ring and he got like serenaded. Sheamus must not have felt that love in a long time because in the US he gets a bit of a reaction, but he's not one of the hugest stars anymore, is he, in WWE?
No.
So for him to get that reaction must have been really cool. And we also talked about Solo Sikoa a minute ago. We got another NXT call up in this match as well.
Yes, Vinci. That was awesome. Actually, I got really excited here. So Vinci, who was formerly, why has it left my head? Fisher?
Fabian Eichner.
There we go. Yeah, Eichner from Imperium has now come back to complete the original Imperium set from NXT UK and then briefly in NXT. You have Gunther,
Ludwig Kaiser.
Eichner, so Vinci, and Ludwig Kaiser. All the name changes are confusing me now. Yeah. But yeah, Imperium are back, and they are a phenomenal force. They are incredible.
Vinci's so good in the ring. Like on the main roster with Triple H running it, he's going to have some banger matches. And the tag division now, because they weren't in the tag division. You had Gunther doing the wrestling, Kaiser occasionally wrestling against Gunther's opponent. So like he'd faced. Oh, well, we faced Butch, who was Sheamus' thing. But you had like Nakamura versus Kaiser a couple of times before Nakamura then faced Gunther. But here now, you can have them in the tag division as well, which will be incredible.
Oh, yeah. You can have awesome six-man tags. You can have great singles matches, tag matches. This is going to be great.
Them versus the Bloodline down the line could be absolutely
I was going to say it's a bit of a dream match, isn't it? But getting them in a six-man tag. Wow. Could you imagine something like that at Survivor Series?
With all the titles on the line or something as well. Like that could just put if Imperium win, Gunther gets the titles and they get the tag titles. You can do something
steal
mad
the
like
Intercontinental.
That.
Could happen.
Yeah. Or to do that, I think you'd have to have Gunther drop the titles, maybe, and then you could do it like that because you could have them give it to Solo Sikoa. You could have them win the titles and say it's Solos. Like I don't know, and then you can make you could definitely do something like that. It'd be awesome.
Give the Bloodline even more titles. But
it's the only one they don't have, and now they've got an extra member. You never know. They might do title.
That. Maybe they'll give Solo Sikoa the 24/7 title. Make it relevant. Bring it to the island. He pins Dana Brooke tonight on Raw. Yeah,
that'll do it. That'll get him over.
Like you say, absolutely great match. Thoroughly enjoyed. Really hard hitting and great. And something that really didn't disappoint at all from start to finish. There was no disappointment at all. Had to be Edge and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Just straight away. Obviously, Rey Mysterio, awesome, cool entrance. He's an absolute legend. But Edge coming out to Metalingus, I have not heard anything like it. This was louder than when I've been to concerts. The amount of people.
This felt like a gig.
I don't know anyone who wasn't I didn't see anybody who wasn't singing Metalingus here. This was just sort of engulfed in the moment.
Apart from the two guys sat next to me who didn't pop for anything all night.
Well, let's hope they don't recognise us now, Fisher.
But they didn't. They didn't. Them. No, but they didn't. I mean, I'm sure they'd admit it.
I mean, each fan has to enjoy it in the way they.
But they can if they want. But I'm just saying they weren't. They were like the only two people I could see not singing it. But they didn't pop for much all night. So
maybe it's because they were sat next to you. They're really sad about that.
Maybe.
But yeah, incredible. He also came out in a luchador mask, which I thought was really cool.
That was a
In
cool
homage to Rey Mysterio, the fact
yeah.
he was tagging with him. But you could tell he was enjoying it. He got in the ring and he was smiling and laughing, just soaking it in.
Yeah,
I
I'll tell
will
you what,
not forget that moment. That was incredible.
It was an incredible. It was probably my favorite moment of the whole show. Like singing along to that, I
Yeah.
just felt like no, this is incredible. And I watched the clip back of his entrance on TV, and I don't think it does it justice of how loud we were. Like you can hear it, but it doesn't do it justice. I've seen videos from in the fans where we were sat, and it sounds incredible. But on the TV, you could hear it, but because obviously Edge's music's playing very loud as well. It doesn't quite do it justice. You can hear
I
the
couldn't
fans
hear
singing.
his music. I could only hear the fans.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was incredible how loud we went. And then we got a decent tag team match. I wouldn't say it was anything like special exactly. The match, I thought it was good.
There was some cool
it was more
spots,
about the
weren't
after
there?
angle. Yeah, there was definitely some.
You had Edge hit a 619,
That was awesome. Yeah,
which was great. I liked it, and I like the fact that he failed the first one as well.
yes. Like sorry, we can't. You know, we haven't got. We didn't write notes, obviously, because we're not stupid.
Yeah, we haven't. We're not as thorough as usual.
So
yeah.
our thorough analysis, I've got to remember things and not forget them.
There was no way I was going to waste the opportunity there to just be engulfed in it and not just write. I didn't want to be sat there writing.
And the thing is, I might have watched it back the whole show when we got home if there wasn't NXT and then All Out on as well. I am completely burnt out. I spent like 8 hours today watching wrestling. So do you know what I mean? I've got Raw tonight, so yeah, I can't watch any more. So that's why I haven't watched it back. But I will want to at some point. I'm sure. Like I'll give it a few months when I've forgotten it. What exactly happened?
I'll give you by the next week or so. I think you'd have watched it.
Maybe, but it'll be cool because I like watching old pay-per-views back on the network. But to watch when we're actually at, I've never done that before. Like we've never had the opportunity to do that. So that can be one. I mean, I'll probably still be watching it in 10 years' time. Like it'd be so cool.
If they still did the VHS, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Of course. Anyway, there's a little bit off the topic there. But,
yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
So yeah, Edge and Rey's tag match itself, really, the wrestling itself was really, really good. I think, like I said, the after angle is what is the headline grabber here with Dominic. We all predicted it. We all saw it coming.
Yeah.
But on our predictions, we foolishly predicted Judgment Day to win because of it. They didn't do that. They had Edge and Rey win first and then do the turn, which is fair enough.
They've tricked us twice doing this.
I know. I keep falling for it.
Edge has won twice when I've gone for Judgment Day to win. I must say, Judgment Day are looking a bit weak now. They do need to win. I don't think they've won anything.
No, that is true. They are being. I know they're booked against top. They're being booked against top stars. Like Edge is as big as you can get, and Rey Mysterio as well.
I think when you're getting a turn,
they could have used that as an excuse.
You could have used it as an excuse for them to win. Although this turn did work very well in the way it did.
I think though they wanted as well.
The shot.
We'll talk about it, but we had a lot of heels and disappointing wins. We talked about Sheamus not winning, Drew not winning. And I know Finn's a UK Ireland guy, but
he's a heel.
Look how over Edge was. Everyone's singing along to his entrance. Everyone wanted it's Edge to win this match. So I think for the fan service here, they probably had to have Edge win. So I do understand it, because I think if they hadn't, it would have been like virtually all heels winning, other than Liv Morgan, who is a babyface, but she isn't the level of star for the fans to go, oh yeah, at least Liv won. Like I think if everybody they didn't want to win apart from Liv, I think it's going to make a difference. But yeah, Dominic's turn was awesome. The low blow to Edge first, then Rey kind of
savage clothesline. And he took his head off, didn't he?
Yeah, and what I loved about this is it was almost identical looking to one Batista did on Rey Mysterio when he turned on him 15 years ago or so. And another, cool. There was someone else, it might have been Eddie Guerrero or someone else as well, did exactly the same thing. So it's continuity of this kind of move being used on Rey, which I love that. And I loved as well, my favourite part of it is since, and I saw it on the screen as well at the time, Judgment Day's reaction, they're laughing at it, was fantastic.
Yeah, I loved that picture of Finn just absolutely creasing up.
So I guess the final remaining question to ask about this is: does Dom actually join the Judgment Day, or is he just going to be a heel on his own?
Well, I always predicted I thought he should because
Yeah.
he's got that awesome purple gear. But this doesn't look like he is or needs to. But I think it may continue to play the story of Rhea trying to win him over because Rhea's the one that seems to be getting in his head.
Yes.
I think they're going
Rhea
to keep
feels like the
playing
leader,
on
to
that.
be honest, doesn't she?
And I think she should be because she isn't doing too much in the women's division at all.
No.
So give her a major role in the Judgment Day, sort of the ringleader.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good idea to have it prolong, and then maybe you get a sort almost like a tug of war of Dominic swaying back towards Ray
Mm.
and Rhea trying to win him over, and then eventually you get this turn and he comes out in that purple. I'm obsessed with the purple. That's what I want him to wear.
Well, my reasoning as well. I hope the same happens, but my reason mainly is for I can't see Dominic Mysterio being a great heel on his own.
No.
And a strong enough booked heel. Like he's not believable that he's going to beat Edge in a one-on-one match on his own. But if he's part of the Judgment Day, then he's got a chance because he's got 3 people behind him.
Definitely.
So I think he needs a faction rather than just being on his own. But we'll see how it plays out. Let's say I think they might drag the story on for a little bit. I don't think necessarily we're going to come out tonight on Raw and Dominic will come out with Judgment Day. I don't see that happen. I think we might get more teasers of them joining them, and like you say, Rhea being the main one involved in that. It'd be interesting because will Edge and Ray be on Raw tonight? Will we get Beth Phoenix
Just
involved in this again? There's so much you can do.
I could just imagine just like cut into a scene backstage. Rhea's just like stroking Dominic's hair, like he's a dog or something. I mean, to be honest, the way it's been going, it wouldn't surprise me.
As I say, it's not too far from that at the moment. But I love it. I love Rhea Ripley involved.
Brilliant storytelling.
She, like I say, she feels like the main member of Judgment Day, even though she's not wrestling. So that's really good. Should we move on?
Yeah, I think you mentioned Liv and Shayna. I think we should just briefly mention that.
Yeah, let's talk about
that.
Not
too much to say, really. I mean, the match was good, just obviously the atmosphere was way down. A multitude of reasons. You had an absolute stacked card. Liv's had a bit of a rough time lately with being over with the crowd, and also this wasn't really built that well. I think, as a trio, also was adamant something was going to happen to make this match bigger.
Is what I was going to say.
Nothing did. We thought maybe Ronda was going
to. I think a lot
of
people thought that. I remember seeing online, like in a build up to this, like weeks before, like this can't be the Clash match. It's not. It's a big match, but it doesn't. This super show with a great card, like this, just kind of felt there. And yeah, I thought maybe Ronda was going to be added last minute, or Ronda was going to interfere, walk through the crowd, because if she was still suspended, that would have worked brilliantly. Her coming through the crowd, but obviously I mean, spoiler for Friday SmackDown when we review that, but she got reinstated on SmackDown. So then I thought, that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I think we thought even Charlotte Flair coming back here would have been something. At the end.
The only thing the more I think about it, it's good because Liv Morgan needed a clean, simple win. I think she was so damaged after the Ronda crap
100% because that
she really needed to win, but it was almost surprising because I didn't believe she could beat Shayna, so it was a bit weird that she did beat her clean. It was like, oh, that was strange, but she did need it.
She did need it, definitely.
The thing is, they should have never done that stupid SummerSlam finish because even now, even though she's won clean, I'm still a bit like, didn't feel quite real.
No, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go next. I'm assuming they'll probably get Liv Ronda again now Ronda's back. I think that's probably the obvious thing to do. Maybe do an Extreme Rules because then there's no, there's no DQs, nothing can happen. I think Ronda can have a good match like that, and Shayna could still be involved in that somehow. You can involve her in the storyline with Ronda. You could even have a triple threat. I don't know, but there's definitely ways you can continue this and make it interesting. But yeah, in terms of where this match was, I enjoyed watching it, but the crowd was a little bit quiet for this one. But yeah, like you said, I think Liv definitely needed the win. It was a good match. Liv did there was a bit in the corner where she did that. It's a power bomb out of the corner where she like flips. That she does. I can't remember what
that was awesome. Yeah,
that was great. She's done it before, but I haven't seen her do it in a while. And I think there were some really good bits in this match that people did get into it towards the end because of it being good. But I just think it was unfortunately placed on the card as well, the third match in.
You're going to struggle on that card.
Yeah.
You couldn't have placed it anywhere really. It'd be correct. It was
Should we talk
always
about
going
the
to
other
struggle.
women's match and then end with Rollins and Riddle?
100%.
So the other
Yeah.
women's match on the card was the 6-woman tag team match, which actually opened the show. I don't think any of us, we talked about actually earlier in the day, didn't we? Which match we think will open the show. I don't think any of us said the 6-woman
No.
tag, but I don't think it was a bad choice because the very
Not at
first
all.
person that come out was, we didn't talk about the pre-show actually, we'll talk about that briefly at the end. So it wasn't the very first music we heard, but Bianca Belair came out first here. And then we got the new team entrance from Damage Control, which felt quite generic. I would have preferred Bailey's, then Io's and Dakota's separately because I love their entrances. But I guess when you've got a proper faction with a proper team name, you're going to come out together. So that was okay. But then we got a really fun opening 6-woman tag match.
Yeah, it was great, wasn't it? I mean, it's nice that they have a name. I think I agree there. Their music wasn't too good. Bailey was hilariously over here. I think it's mainly the fact that her name goes really well into the song "Hey Hey Baby," but Bailey. I don't think she'd be as popular otherwise, but
she's been tweeting about that loads since as well.
It's just so funny, isn't it?
I mean, she is very popular, particularly in the UK. But yeah, the chant helps, and the fact it kept going and going and going. It
was confusing people, wasn't it? I know even Bianca was looking like, "What is going on?"
The only other people that really got chants in this match were EST. There was some EST chants, and at one point there was a "Let's Go Asuka" chant when she tagged in. Other than that, I mean, like Io and Dakota felt irrelevant about unfortunately because Bailey was so over.
Yeah,
and that's not really anybody's fault.
It was part of the fun, though.
It was just part of the fun crowd that was involved. But yeah, I loved the Hey Bailey chant.
Yeah, it was a great match,
and she was really playing into it.
She was, yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah, I'm so pleased that this faction is a thing.
Yeah,
I like the fact that we got to see Belair, Oscar, and Bliss, but it's not a trio I want to see for too much longer. I think they're wasted really in this.
No, and I think with the outcome of this match, I think we've got a clear direction now anyway, really. I think Alexa and Asuka will go off and do a separate thing. And we're going to get Bailey versus Belair because Bailey actually pinned Bianca Belair in this match.
Yeah, that was very interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that they allowed that. I think it's good sometimes when that happens because, I think Bailey's 100% going to play on that.
Oh, 100%. She's going to come out to Raw tonight and be like, I pinned you. I want to face you at Extreme Rules. Like, I can't see anything about that. I think Asuka and Alexa, I don't think they'll keep them in the tag division as a tag team. I think they're too good individually to be a tag team. And the rest of Damage Control can be involved with the. I mean, the feud might still continue in terms of like a 3-on-3 a bit, but
I predicted
Oscar to go into Survivor
as a
Series.
tag.
Yeah, I predicted to go to Survivor Series, and then we can have a Raquel and Aaliyah involved, and Sasha and Naomi. But it is. I didn't realize there was still 2 pay-per-views before Survivor Series. I, for some reason, thought Survivor Series was the next show. So, I think that would be dragging it out too long. So I don't think that happens now. But it will be interesting what happens with the tag title because obviously Dakota and Io got screwed out of that a little bit. So maybe they'll move on to that tonight as well. They may get a rematch or something.
I think they should get the belts. I think it would be really good. I think they'd be great with it, if I'm honest.
Yeah, they should do. If Sasha and Naomi aren't coming back, especially, then they should. But even if they are, you could still have them have the belts, and then